So at 1 day old, this baby was married to a 60-year-old witch. Witchcraft is real. There are witches in the Bible. Welcome to Candid Wisdom, the podcast. It seems like everywhere we turn, there is more talk about witches and witchcraft. You can find witchcraft related things in Target. You can watch show after show about witches and the magic that they have and the power that they have to cast spells and to manifest. It seems like everybody wants to be a witch now. I'm walking through the aisles in Barnes and Nobles, and there's book after book on the shelves about how to become a witch, how to work magic, how to cast a spell. Witchcraft has become mainstream, and there are children's shows, cartoons, and movies about witchcraft and how cute it is and how fun it is to manifest things on your own. Now, is witchcraft real? Now, we might think that it's cute and it's funny and that you can manifest money and material things, and all of those things are true. I have watched people use their magic to manifest things in their life. I had a friend, Heather, who was a dancer in Las Vegas, and she wanted to have a breast augmentation. And she said, you know what, Twila, I am going to get my breast augmentation and somebody else is going to pay for it. I said, really? How are you going to do that, Heather? She says, I'm going to use my witchcraft. I'm going to use my magic, and I'm going to put a man under a spell, and he's going to buy the breast for me. Well, I'm thinking, okay, sure. All right. She says, I've selected the man that I'm going to seduce, and I'll tell you by this time next year, I'm going to have that breast surgery. Well, I said, can you please tell me exactly what you're going to do? She gave me step by step the spells, the words that she would use to put in his head and in his mind to buy her this operation. She talked about the things that she would put in his drinks and the things that she would put in his food, and that she would put him under her power, and that she would get those breasts. And sure enough, she did do that. She manifested those breasts, that breast implant. Well, you might think, well, that's just a small thing. Maybe here and there in America, we hear people saying they can get money and they can get clothes and jewels and things like that. But in other countries like Africa, the witches are the leaders in those congregations. They are leaders in the villages, and those witches are serious. And the power that they have is impressive. There was a woman who wanted to have a male child. She had had 3 daughters, and she wasn't able to conceive a son. So she went to go see the witch of the village so that she could conceive a son. And the woman promised that she would have a boy, but she would have to dedicate that boy to her when he was born. Otherwise, the child would die. So at 1 day old, this baby was married to a 60-year-old witch. And the mother said she was unable to breastfeed the child because when she got home, a python wrapped himself around the child, and she wasn't able to touch the child for the first 3 months of his life. The mother doesn't know how the child survives. She thinks that the snake was feeding the child. These are the types of things, the types of stories that come out of witchcraft. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we were taught that this stuff was just hocus pocus. It wasn't real. These things didn't happen. It was all their imagination. But witchcraft is real. People can tap into a dark power that will allow them to manipulate things here on earth. Witches have been around for a very long time. There are witches in the Bible. Let me read for you this chapter. And this is in the New Testament, in Acts verse 16. Once, when we were going to a place of prayer, we were met by a female slave who had a spirit by which she predicted the future. She earned a great deal of money for her owners by fortune telling. She followed Paul and the rest of us, shouting, These men are servants of the Most High God who are telling you the way to be saved. She kept this up for many days. Finally, Paul became so annoyed that he turned around and said to the spirit, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to come out of her." At that moment, the spirit left her. When her owners realized that their hope of making money was gone, they seized Paul and Silas and dragged them into the marketplace to face the authorities. So this woman had a spirit that was allowing her to predict the future, and her owners were making money on that by going around and telling people their fate. And when they realized that she didn't have the power anymore, they seized Paul and Silas and wanted to sue them for the revenue that they would lose because this woman no longer had a spirit inside of her. So what is this story telling us? It's telling us that the power that these people have, that they've tapped into, is real. But where is the power coming from? This story right here reveals the source. It was an evil spirit that was inside of her, giving her the power to do that. And although the information she was giving was not harmful, she was predicting the future, we need to think about the source. It all goes back to the source of that power. Now, what stopped that spirit from operating? The name of Jesus Christ. So if you ever come against anyone who has that type of power, just call on the name of Jesus, and that will put an end to that power. I have to admit that I've had to use this in my own life because of some of the things that I had involved myself with before I became a Christian. So don't let the enemy fool you into thinking that he doesn't exist and that there's no power in that kingdom. It is very real, and it is nothing to be toyed with. We should be ready in every moment to call on the name of Jesus. And remember, there is a power greater than any spirit, a power greater than any magic that we can call on, and that is the name of God. God will give you the desires of your heart. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and he knows how to give good gifts to his children. All you have to do is ask God for what you want. And if it is the right thing, and if it is his will, and if it is good for you, then he will give it to you. So don't waste your energy chasing after things that ultimately is going to cost you more than your life. It's going to cost you eternity. Call on the name of Jesus and trust in the Lord.